you and I were talking about movies that where there's limitations put on what the camera does or where the point of view goes, be it something like Rope or Buried in recent years. A lot of people think that there's freedom found in that restriction. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think that if you have a limited environment, you know you're going to get all of it. And so it's a question of finding out ways of capturing the whole thing. And I completely believe that no matter what the film, even if it's a big budget film with lots of special effects, the audience, the part of the screen where the audience are looking is the eyes of the actors, I think.
Be it gravity or, no matter the setting, it's the person in the middle. That's interesting. And with this one, the person in the middle is Tom Hardy. And wow, that's a fascinating resource there. What about this performance? This movie was written very quickly, filmed very quickly too, right?
Yeah, it sort of had a bit of a charm life. It was unlike anything else I've ever worked on where all the doors flew open for whatever reason. But I had the idea for doing something different. After I'd made a more conventional film and wondered if there wasn't a different way of getting people into a room, turn off the lights and have them engage with the screen. I'd also, we tested the digital cameras by shooting from moving vehicles, and I found the test footage absolutely hypnotic.
Wow.
And wondered if you couldn't turn that into a theatre and put an actor in and shoot effectively a stage play. One of the best comments that comes out of seeing it is people forget they haven't seen the other people. So it's a question of you hear the voice and you hear the sound effects of the situation, and I think it's a natural human thing to then create the picture. Like when you read a story to a kid or when you listen to a radio play, that people automatically begin to create that world. So it was an attempt to try and engage with whatever that facility is.
And it seemed like the conversations, they felt very authentic in their cadence and the way they overlapped or the emotion in them. Was there improv? Was that a big part of your plan, or was that all?
Originally, I thought improvisation would be available or should be available to the actors, but all of them, who are all theatre people, didn't want that. They wanted to have word for word. So Tom had teleprompt on the car was on a low loader. There was teleprompt in front. There was teleprompt in the rear view and in the GPS. So wherever he looked, the script was there, and the actors had the script with them. But the great thing about it is that, as they all said, as theatre people, once they've got that there, they've got the words solid, nailed, then they can start to do what they do. Because if it had been a question of, you start a phone conversation and it might go that way or that way, I think the chaos would have entered the car. We sat around a table with all of the actors and Tom for 5 days and just read through, as we would for theatre, and just talked about character and motivation and all of those things, so that when we went on the road, we felt equipped to do the thing. And what we agreed to do from the beginning, which is what we did, is to do it in a different way, where Tom was in the car on the low loader with the teleprompt. The actors were in a hotel room with some red wine and a phone line into the car. I would say action only once. We would set off. We shot the whole film beginning to end. We'd have a break. We'd shoot the whole film again, have a break, and shoot the whole film again and have a break. So we didn't want to, at any point, for me to say, can we go again? Or can you do that differently? But just knowing that it will be perfect in different places every time, and it will be wrong in different places every time, so that you can then cut together where it's right. And at the end of each one, have a conversation maybe about one aspect of it. But it just meant that the actors could calibrate their own performance. So when it's emotional at the end, it's emotional because they've just been through that, rather than, and actors, obviously, because it's more of a theatre experience, enjoy that.
Him being sick and things like that comes across as well.
Yeah, I mean, but all along what we wanted to do was capture what was really going on. So I'd love to claim that him having a bad cold was textural, but it's not. He arrived on the day for filming, he had a cold.
And you allowed that?
Well, no, it was either hide it or go with it. And so we said, okay, well, Ivan's got a cold, so the medicine that he's taken is the medicine that Tom arrived on the set with.